All right, fellas, welcome back to the tape deck. I'm Justin, I think.
And I'm Randy, I think.
All right, today we got a hootenanny for you. I'm telling you what, Randy pulling up us with a J. Cole, For Your Eyes Only, spelled with a 4, by the way, do I mind you?
And also a Z instead of an S.
Yeah, it's some strange artistic choices.
Hashtag Thug Life.
We also have a World of Masks by the Heliocentrics. Very fancy. I guess we'll start alphabetically with For Your Eyes Only. Randy, what do you think about this album?
What do I think about this album? Well, as a hip-hop fan, I obviously listened to this album when it first came out.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I believe.
It's his fourth effort, right?
Yes, fourth studio album. I believe it came out in 2016.
Oh, well, I should go on the here you go.
Here's
the album art.
There we go. That's better.
Real unprofessional here.
Yeah, but I believe it came out in 2016. Fourth studio album, platinum, no features.
Platinum?
Yeah, platinum, no features.
So no one was featured?
Nope.
I kept thinking I heard random voices.
Yeah, well, there's
okay.
no official features.
Okay.
I mean, if you go back on the wiki, you'll see
all
the people there.
Oh, hey, there's quite a few.
Right. See, background vocals, additional vocals, background vocals.
Apparently, Anthony's elite too. Look
Anthony
at that.
elite, gotta love him.
He's pretty elite.
Yeah.
Co-executive producer. All right. So, this is like where would you? Because I haven't listened to any of J. Cole's albums before. Where would you put this on his album scale? Is this one of his greats?
Okay, so at this point in J. Cole's career, we have 5 studio albums, and apparently a 6th one is coming out this year. So everybody, cross your fingers that we get that.
I'm crossing.
You're crossing, but let's see, where would I rank this one? You know, everybody says that 2014 Forest Hills Drive is the best.
It's the one with him sitting on the house, right?
Correct.
The rooftop.
Yes,
okay.
his third studio effort. That is not my personal favorite. My personal favorite of his albums would be Born Sinner, so that I would rank that number 1.
Which one was that?
That's the second one. His second effort, and then I would probably put KOD at my number 2, and then 2014 Forest Hills Drive, this album, and then Cold World, a sideline story would probably be the bottom for me. Not that any of them are bad albums in any respect, but that's just my ranking. Rankings are dumb to begin with, so it doesn't really matter.
I mean, it's just which is a subjective. We're just talking.
Yeah. But,
all right.
So I'd put this in the middle.
Okay.
I definitely think that this effort was ambitious because it is a concept album.
Yeah.
As is the album after this one as well, and I would say the album before, but I think that the topics that he discusses are probably the most poignant, even though
Call him very controversial.
Not
controversial, but like, you know, he does get kind of like racy and like.
Definitely, yeah. Race is a large factor on this album, but growing up in Fayetteville, North Carolina,
yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean. I mean,
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
A segregated community, to begin with, you know.
I think you need to talk about things that like are very.
He's talking about what he knows. He's talking about how he grew up, and the character of, I believe the name is James, but you're gonna have to check me on that.
Do you want me to look it up?
Yeah, you need to. It's probably on the wiki. Go up.
I'll go to the summary.
I need fact checked.
Fact check our background.
Yeah.
Do you see anything about James?
It's gonna be. There's gonna be something on here. There's got to be something.
We're trying to find, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna roll with it.
Let's just paraphrase.
We're just gonna roll with it.
All right.
The character of James is a friend.
Don't quote Randy.
Yeah, don't quote me.
Ugh.
But the character that he uses is somebody that would be his friend that got shot while they were growing up.
Oh, really?
Yes. And this is supposed to be a tape of him, the friend, explaining like his life to his daughter.
Oh,
that
okay.
he's no longer obviously around to see.
Not gonna lie.
So he asked his friend, he asked J. Cole to play this for his daughter.
Oh, that's like the story.
That's like the story. If you notice on the first track there is a click at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And on the end of the last
like
track
a tape recorder,
there is a click.
Yeah.
It's like a cassette. The tape deck, but
shut up.
But it's like a cassette is being played throughout the entire time. Now, while J. Cole does go on his own experiences throughout the album, he also uses this character, and we learn in the last song, For Your Eyes Only, the longest track on the album, like I believe it's the first 3 verses are from the perspective of the character, and then the last verse is from the perspective of J. Cole.
Okay. So, like, my first point here to talk about, I guess, do you think this album art is trying to point any message?
Oh, I definitely do.
Okay.
I mean, I think with the back turned, we obviously see that J. Cole is not the main focus of the album. Because on all of his other albums, his face is forward.
The only one facing us is That Little Child, and you did say that would point more to that kid getting the message.
Correct, even though it is a daughter.
It's
still
a message. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think
the kid's looking up to J. Cole.
Correct, and I mean, I think that the image is very powerful, just in the way that it's set, because obviously you can tell that that's taken in his childhood neighborhood, and the way that it's ripped there, I believe, shows that this is something that like his friends would have given him.
It's pasted together. It's not professional, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like we're trying to put our scraps of our lives together.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that. Nice little deep message there. What do you think about the album name?
So, For Your Eyes Only means
just because it's only for him. It's a personal message.
It's only for the daughter. You know what I mean? Like the character wants the daughter to see this, and it's for her eyes only.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, definitely appropriate, I would say. I think that everything actually matches up, and it all makes sense. It's planned out. It's not just, bleh, here's art.
It's not just bleh, 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 bleh. Okay. This is another... We're riding a rap wave of jazz influence.
Yes, most definitely.
From Swimming to For Your Eyes Only.
This wasn't intentional.
Yeah, the first track, when I looked at the album, I was like, did he do a Metallica cover? Because I saw For Whom the Bell Tolls. I was like...
It's actually after Ernest Hemingway, though.
I know, it's the poem. But
yeah.
I was like, am I about to hear Metallica? But I was like,
that would have been something. That would have been funny to hear.
But, that, I think, that was one of my favorite tracks on the album. Like, cause like also, I think the earlier songs are kind of weak. Excluding For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Okay,
that's a great track.
Yeah,
I think
a great
the earlier
intro.
ones are kind of weak, and then like near like the latter half of the album, it starts picking up strongly.
Okay,
in my opinion.
Pull up that track list.
Pull up the track list. All right, that's a good move. All right, here we go. Yeah, so like Immortal and Deja Vu are the singles of the album, right?
Those were the 2 lead singles. Yeah,
and like they're obviously your bread and butter rap songs.
That and Neighbors.
Yeah, they're like your bread and butter for the rap.
Yeah.
So like obviously like I think they're okay, but you know it's not doing much.
Yeah.
they have good messages, good lyrics though. You know, Immortal is like talking about the whole like more like you know like the rap. Being alive in that community.
Correct.
And like how they live forever even after anything bad might happen.
Correct. That's a good interpretation. Yes.
I think that J. Cole as a rapper, for me, coming from like a not rap like a really unbased hip hop group, I think his hooks can be a little too repetitive.
See, now on this album, I think is where he starts doing that. Well, no, I wouldn't say. I mean, I think that he's done this for a long time, but that's because he knows how to blend being socially conscious and actually saying stuff.
And, like, being like something to bang to.
Correct. Yeah. So people will actually listen to it. Because, like I said, platinum, no features. Like, that's hard. You know what I mean? Like, that's rough. Because in today's world, you know, every album is about the features. The first thing that I do when I look at an album track list before the album releases, is look at who the features are.
Really?
Yes, that is the first thing I do.
See, I mean, is that what it's like in rap now, like hip hop?
Yes, that is the stage that we are at.
That's crazy because like, and when the music I come to, features are kind of rare.
I know.
And anywhere else. That's funny, but so seeing and looking, it looks like he produces most of his music as well.
Correct. I mean, obviously he has some help here, but he is the main producer on this album.
Oh yeah, and so I think one of the greatest strong points of this album is like the instrumentation and the orchestration, because he does especially near the end, he starts getting weird instruments, starts getting weird with it, vibey, a lot of strings,
folding clothes.
Yeah, folding clothes is great.
But I mean, you got Steve Lacy on it though, so you can't go wrong with Steve Lacy.
Steve Lacy is American musician. I'm kidding.
Thanks for reading that. He's just like the best bassist in hip hop.
Is he? Oh, so is he popular in hip hop?
Oh yeah. Very, 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 very popular. A lot of artists work with him. I definitely enjoy whenever artists work with him. He's from the collective called The Internet. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
No, I have
They're
not.
very, very, very funky. I actually recommend them
All
to
right.
you. Maybe that'll be the
Get a
next
little
pick.
funky.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think about some of his sampling?
I mean, on Neighbors, he samples himself.
Really?
He just flips the Forbidden Fruit beat.
Oh, okay. I was like,
He flips his own beat.
do you think samples are his like a strong suit? Because like there was a couple on this album that I remember. Not
yeah,
like too many.
So, J. Cole is definitely, I would say, trained in the Kanye school of production.
The Kanye school.
I mean, he's pointed to him as one of his largest influences.
Yeah.
And then,
Okay.
and then even takes him down in False Prophets. Blah blah blah. If you are anywhere in the hip hop popular culture, you know what I'm talking about. But he's definitely trained in that way of producing music. If you listen to The Warm Up or his other effort that I can't think of that came before his debut album.
It's okay, man.
Yeah, but he's always tried to flip samples, and I think that as he's grown as an artist, he's gotten better at it each time. Because
Yeah.
I think that it's with adding the live instrumentation, he's added more and more on each album. I think that.
So he's getting more and more ambitious.
Yes.
Bigger budget, can afford to hire some more folks.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Especially because, like, you look at this musician list.
I know, I mean-
there's a lot.
Yes.
Steve Lacy plays guitar and bass on that track.
I didn't know that J. Cole played guitar and bass on this album.
Oh,
so
apparently
that's
J. Cole can play guitar and bass. Look at that.
good for him.
That's nice. I think one of the gripes I have. I mean,
What's your gripe?
You could disagree with this. I think that his rapping it can be a little unaltered. He'll fall into a pet rhythm.
Okay.
And he'll follow through with that like for a while.
Okay.
And I get tired of hearing like like stuff like that over and over again.
I think that whenever you're telling a story, you kind of have
Yeah,
to stay in that rhythm.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially, a lot of the times his verses they're more than 16 bars. They're more than your typical.
Oh yeah, because
what I would call a typical hip hop verse.
Because he has a really long repetitive hook, and then
Yeah.
he goes into a sort of lengthy verse, and then he goes back into the hook. Yeah.
Right, you know what I mean? So there's where you get the contrast, and I think that's why the hook is so long, in respect to that.
Yeah. So to give, I think it's also what you said with popular music, to give people something to sing to because he goes into such long like rants.
Mm-hmm.
Well, taking a sip of water, sponsored by Aquafina.
No, we're not.
I think that the singing is a strong suit of his.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think that on a Sideline Story, he doesn't really sing. On Born Sinner, he might.
So
sing
is
a
this like
couple
his like
times,
only
but
album?
Forest
he was
Hills
singing
Drive,
on?
he
Okay.
sings more, and then I think that he definitely comes into his own on this one, and then on KOD, he really outshines, I think, as well. But
Is that an album?
that's the
I
fifth.
thought it was a track. Sorry.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think that his singing is the best on
On
the
this?
Ville Mentality.
Ville Mentality. Yeah.
I think that's his best song singing.
Definitely. Yeah. I think you got that, and you got She's Mine. Obviously.
Oh, She's Mine is. I mean, Ville Mentality, She's Mine Part 1 and 2 are my three favorite tracks on the album.
My favorite were For Whom the Bell Tolls, Foldin', She's Mine, and then I also liked the title track, For Your Eyes Only.
Oh, okay.
I think it was the most ambitious, because it's an 8-minute track, which is like, who does that other than like Kanye? Whenever he likes to ramble for 9 minutes with the same piano groove. Let's not go into that. But I think, to like, counteract myself with saying his rapping, I think the song that best showcases his skill with rapping is Neighbors.
Okay.
He's going back and forth with some really.
He's definitely switching flows,
with
yes.
some
And I
quick
mean,
stuff.
obviously, and the topic is amazing too, the way that he's able to write and still make it catchy.
Oh yeah, it's catchy, and it's definitely like something that's like funny. It's kind of funny. I mean, it shouldn't be funny.
I mean,
but,
it
yeah.
shouldn't be. It's funny because nothing bad was actually happening.
Yeah.
But like, it's not funny because that shouldn't happen to him. Like, why? Why did that even happen? Like, just because you got African Americans in a community like that and they have a house, ain't mean they selling weed.
But he said he was selling weed. He's like, but I am. And I think, talking about his hooks, I think Change was my favorite hook of his on the album.
I think Change is probably the best socially conscious song on the
Definitely.
album.
It's a good message. A lot of this is just good messages and also good things to get out to the public, get out to the public eye.
Because, a lot of the times people don't care about this whenever they're listening to hip-hop.
I don't think most people listen to hip-hop for conscious hip-hop. That's this genre of hip-hop, right?
Correct. I mean, I would say, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar.
Conscious hip-hop.
Conscious hip-hop. Yeah. The socially conscious rapper.
The one that's doing more than just staying within, like, the Rick Ross realm of rap.
Hey, but there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. That music's there for a party.
It's there for a reason.
It's the new dance music. It's the new swing.
The new swing.
It's the new music that's just. It's the new music to get there to do the mashed potato too.
The mashed potato.
That's a great dance.
That's the dance that you decided to pick out of every dance.
It's because I listened to that one song. Sam, it's a buddy of ours. Shout out to you, buddy. There's a song by this old group where they're like, "Do the mashed potato, mashed potato." It's really good.
Is it? Is it actually?
It's so funny.
Oh my gosh.
That's off topic though, but and he also does some of the songs get a little spoken word on this album.
And I enjoy it.
I think that's another good thing. Like he starts like he's just telling you a poem, and I'm like, all right, throw it at me.
I mean, one thing that he's always stressed is his ability to write, and I think that.
So is he kind of like? Is this so he considers himself great at his writing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, they all put themselves on that level. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Of like a poetic writer.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, they definitely say these are my lyrics. I focus on them. I don't have any ghostwriters.
Yeah, Kendrick is very prolific about that too, especially on like. I was gonna acronym butterfly, but I couldn't
TPAB.
TPAB. Yeah, he gets very prolific about his writing.
Yeah, he's like. Someone with a ghostwriter.
That's another great album, but I won't get into that. I like that one. Are there any other points you want to talk about with this album?
I mean, I wish.
Okay, so you're throwing the criticisms right now. All right, give it out.
I'm trying to see. I don't know. I don't think this album left me wanting more, but I just think. I don't know if he could have done more with this album. I feel like there could have been a couple more songs, maybe.
Yeah, this track, it says only, once again, to go back to the wiki, it's 10 tracks. Some of the songs are roughly 3-4 minutes each.
Yeah, I would say an average, yeah.
It's a 44-minute length, which is kind of long for hip-hop, right?
I mean, only 10 songs, that's long.
Because hip-hop, is that how long?
Because if I compare this to Eyez, which is another 10-track album, I believe that one's only like 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's like the general length of a hip-hop album, right? Like 30 minutes?
Not now.
Not now,
now
it's changed.
Now it's like, 22. But that's streaming's
now.
fault.
Okay.
Because, streaming makes people want to make more money.
That's funny how, so they just make short songs and then like to get it through, so that way it's less time.
Yeah, because Scorpion was 22 songs long.
What's Scorpion?
Oh no, 25 songs long. Correct me.
Was that the Drake's album?
Yep.
The
double album.
The one that people didn't like.
Well, some people liked it.
Okay, it was another controversial album.
It was another controversial album. The critics didn't like it.
I just heard this is I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
I heard that I never listened to it, so I'm not an authority. But people said that the latter half of the album was it's like copying and pasted is what people were saying. It's kind of like there's like no flow to the album. It's like a compilation.
I mean, we can get into that another time. That'll definitely be a pick one week.
Well, you just throw a Drake. Right? I mean, you got to tackle Drake. He's the top artist in the world right now.
Technically, he's not now. It is Khalid.
Really?
Yes. He has the most monthly listeners on Spotify now.
Fun fact, I saw an article. Apparently heavy metal is the fastest growing genre.
I saw that too! I was like...
It's the fastest growing genre in the world. So, like, because, like, America, it's obviously hip-hop. But in the world, I guess heavy metal's booming.
Actually, in America, I would say the fastest growing genre is Latino music.
Really?
Yes, I would say that.
Who's Latino?
Cardi B has the influence.
Oh,
J
yeah,
Balvin,
like
Bad Bunny.
the influence, but they're definitely not Latino music. It's like still pop. It's like
but
pop.
it's not pop. It's Latino pop.
It's like I don't know. Okay, I'm not gonna get into this right now. I need to be better worded in the genre. And so, any other words on For Your Eyes, or do you want to get into?
I mean, I think
Slapping the
I'm
rating.
good. I think I'm
Yeah,
good.
I'm good. All
Okay.
right. What would you give this album?
What would? Oh man. I'd probably give it a solid
Fucking 6. I was like, what?
78.
78. That's actually like, I was gonna say like, I think it's a good entry, but it's definitely not great.
I mean, it's not his best work, in
Yeah.
my opinion. In my opinion, it's not his best work. I think it's a good album. I think he put a lot of effort and detail into it. I think that it has a good message, but I don't.
I
think
was
it's his
gonna
best
give
work.
it. I was gonna give it like a 70 for saying it's just a good.
Yeah.
It's like a good album. It's like there's nothing wrong. If you are a fan of J. Cole, you will probably like it, minus some of his weirder songs.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't like Folding Clothes, but I love Folding Clothes. So.
I mean, yeah, it's because you got the jazz guitar. People get scared. People get scared once they hear jazz guitar. But
Steve Lacy, man.
So this album, between Randy and I, roughly like a 74, 75.
Yeah.
If you like J. Cole, recommend to listen. If you like hip hop, recommend to listen.
I mean, you've probably already listened if you like J. Cole or
Yeah.
hip hop. So, but I definitely wanted to give my opinion on the album just because I feel like a lot of people forget about this album.
It's just one of the it's a gem.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just something to find in the dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, moving on. We got I recommended this album. It's an album no one has heard of probably. You might have though. They are the Heliocentrics. We got A World of Masks. This is they've had a few albums. They're like a UK-based collective of jazz musicians that
Gotta
do
love
like
the UK.
that do world jazz basically, which you can definitely tell on this album. This is their first album with I don't know the name of the singer because they don't put anything.
It's Barbara
Okay.
Potvaka. I looked it
Okay.
up. I probably butchered the last name, but I know her first name's Barbara.
Because they're generally a instrumental group, and this is their first their first LP with a singer, and she's great. I think she's a great addition.
Oh, I think she sounded great. I mean, her voice kind of reminds me of Amy Winehouse.
I knew you were gonna say that,
But it does, and I absolutely love Amy Winehouse. So to hear a voice like hers on this album was just refreshing.
One word for this album is unconventional.
Okay, yeah, definitely can agree with that.
I think it's like an acid jazz soul psychedelic trip. It's like very soulful with the singer, obviously Amy Winehouse-esque. You got this like soulful singer pushing these weird world Africana beats.
Oh my gosh, I was in love with every single drum groove in this album.
You got like weird congas and like you
The
got
congas were amazing.
and it's just trippy, man. If I was high listening to this, it would I'd be seeing the music. Like even like look at this album cover. What do you got
Okay,
here?
so yeah, what does that mean,
What do
Justin?
you got here? Is that the world or like a
It kind of looks like Mars.
Yeah, it's definitely a planet, and then there's like a Saturn belt with like what is that? A tesseract, like a moderate, not like we saw Endgame, not like that tesseract, a tesseract like a. I didn't like that movie, by the way, but so we're not getting into that.
We don't do movie reviews.
We'll save that for another later time. But we got I don't know, like it looks like I think a tesseract. Like I think that's what that's called, like the shape. It's like a helix.
I don't
it's
know, man.
weird. That's why looking at this, you look at it and I think like
I'm confused.
I actually saw this. I was at a record store, and I saw this album sitting out on a new releases, and I saw the album cover, and I was like, that looks like something I would dig.
Did you see this at Attic?
Yeah,
Is
it was
that
at
where it was?
Attic.
Okay,
It was
okay.
laying there like a year ago, and I saw it, and I was like, I'm gonna give that a listen. And I was
Shout out
like,
Attic Records. We absolutely love you.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Actually, Millville, but okay.
In Pittsburgh.
Well,
Millville's
yeah.
in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you know, close enough.
But so this whole album, it's a complex, subtle mess, and I love it. Like we got, so like it's definitely world jazz. So like it's definitely it's not a conventional Western music. A lot of the songs are one chord that are it just moves through, and it's kind of like it's like that Indian like kind of vibe.
I really like that it definitely has that Eastern sound.
Yeah, Eastern sound where it's
I like
yeah.
I like the blend of the Eastern sound with the African drums though.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a very strong African music, and you got they're a large collective of jazz musicians. So you got a lot of instrumentation on this album. You got like.
But like I definitely also like that there is a European influence as well.
Oh, definitely.
Because I think that all three of those definitely stand out as the largest influences.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, yeah.
You got soul. Like this is definitely soul-y. It's like soul jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, cause like you with like some of the tracks, you got like the starting track. First of all, it's like they're all just weird and like there's a lot of if we're talking about dynamics, which I love. This album is very dynamic. It's quiet. It builds up.
Big contrast from last week with Thank You Scientist. I think
this album is a roller coaster. It's like quiet. It builds up. It all of a sudden it breaks. The first track on the album, I forget what it's called.
I don't know what
but
the
don't
name
worry about
is.
it. Track number 1. It starts out and like it just keeps building, but it never like reaches a climax. It's so weird. It like this whole album keeps you listening.
Oh, definitely.
It's like you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite songs on the album were Human Zoo.
Oh, Human Zoo is a groove.
Yeah, Capital of Alone, The Silverback, and The Wake. Those were my favorites.
I think Time is great.
Okay, I can see why you like that one.
Human Zoo.
Yeah.
I think A World of Masks is I think the title track is great. I like Capital of Alone and I like Oh Brother.
Oh, I figured you would like Oh Brother. That definitely wasn't one of my favorites, but
Oh Brother is groovy, man. Why isn't that your favorite?
I don't know. I didn't like the ending with the.
I mean, she starts getting into it.
I didn't enjoy that.
I thought you like whenever singers start going crazy.
Sometimes, but I don't know. I didn't enjoy it there.
That's fair. All right, this album, you know, I think for like this group is so unknown that we got a really good production, like not production.
Oh
like,
yeah,
the way
I was
it's produced is
surprised.
great
I mean,
for like how like tiny they are.
Yeah. But you know what? They aren't that unknown because
they're not in UK. They're probably
because they've worked with Guilty Simpson and DJ Shadow, which are like people that I actually know.
DJ Shadow's that I've met. He's a pretty well known like. He's really good at sampling, right? Isn't that like his strong suit?
And Guilty Simpson is like a pretty big.
I mean, like I was just saying, they're probably not that big because they don't have a Wikipedia.
Do you know what's great though?
What?
Madlib samples them all the time, and Madlib, one of the premier producers in hip hop.
Okay.
I mean, he did No More Parties in L.A. for Kanye. He did The Waters for Anderson .Paak.
Okay.
He works a lot with Freddie Gibbs.
All right.
They're actually doing a collaborative album that's coming out, so I'm
nice.
very excited for that.
Are you? Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously he samples their drum grooves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because every single drum groove on this album, I wanted to sample every single one.
Oh, dude.
Because they would be perfect. Like the whole time I was listening to this album, I could just hear Kendrick Lamar rapping over the beat.
Oh, dude. I mean, this music is tight and it's hot. This music is
tight and hot.
It's jiving, man. It's jiving. This music is totally swinging, and this album doesn't even swing, and it's swinging. There's a lot of there's subtleties everywhere. If you just put on a good pair of headphones and listen, you'll hear something new every time you listen to them. You got like. It's so good. There's just so much to like about this.
There's strings, there's flute, there's brass, right?
Yeah, there's brass.
There's a saxophone.
There's the core drum kit. Then you got all these auxiliary percussion.
Oh, the auxiliary percussion is what I'm here for.
You got like congas, bongas. You probably got other stuff.
They had a flexitone. I heard a flexitone.
Oh yeah, dude.
There's definitely a vibra slap at least once.
Bring. I can't make the noise. I really tried. That's my best attempt.
That was your vibra slap. Okay.
I mean,
let me hear your flexitone.
I don't know if I can even do that, buddy. What's your flexitone?
No. I'm not a vocalist.
I think that I just really I even have like I have nothing but praise for this album.
I honestly really enjoyed this album. I added it to my library. That's how much I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie.
For the Heliocentrics, like I've heard a few of their albums. They worked with a really big composer. Can we look it up? Give me a second. It's
I remember. Reading about it.
Mulatu
Yes.
Akutsuke.
Yeah, I believe.
Look it up. Yeah, there it is. Mulatu Astaki, and they did he does a lot of Ethio jazz. I think that's like
what's that?
It's like the genre this is, I believe. It's like ethnic jazz.
That would make sense.
Ethio jazz. Let me look it up. Give me a second. I could look it up on here, but It has a rich blend of styles with Ethiopian music, jazz, Afro funk, soul, and Latin.
Oh, I like it.
Latin rhythms, yeah.
Latin rhythms.
Yes. That's another good album by
the
them.
syncopation on this album is insane.
Everything.
There's
a lot of. It's complex and it's also ambient at the same time. It's like it's complex while not being like.
It's not in your face.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they're showing off.
It's subtle.
Yeah.
It's like this is jazz at its core. You know, when you listen to a jazz album, most of the time you're not hearing a guy shred for you can be like you listen to John Coltrane, he might be going off on the sax for a while, but like all this is like well orchestrated, and it's all subtle complexity that you just appreciate it from a musical standpoint.
I just like that they aren't showing off.
Yeah, it's nice and groovy. If you like this album, their album with Astake guy, it's called Inspiration Information 3. That's all instrumental, but that's like at the core, like that's Ethio jazz or Ethio, probably that's how you say it.
Yeah,
that's some good music. So the Helio, there's a great group. I've liked all their albums I've listened to Inspiration Information 3. You got From the Deep, which is a trippy like space. Feels like you're on a space trip. All their albums are just trippy, man. That's about all I have to say, man. This is good stuff.
I mean, I'm like I said,
Yeah.
I just loved the drums.
If I was gonna, to rate this album, I honestly think I'd give it nothing short of a 90, but I need to think of, I'd probably give it a 90 like 1.
91. Okay.
I just think this is like, it's just weird and out there, and that's what I look for. I look for music that's pushing boundaries and doing stuff that's not conventional, and I can't think of another group that would sound like this.
I'm gonna give it an 82.
That's fair.
I definitely enjoyed it a lot, and not being familiar with this genre at all, I think that it was a good introduction into the genre, and I absolutely
It's very accessible.
love the drums. That's one thing that I would like to stress a lot.
Check out for Apollo sampling the Heliocentrics.
Yeah, I'll make sure Zach gets on that. Shout out to my boy Zach.
Magic marker.
So you know it's permanent. But I mean, yeah, I'd definitely give it like an 82.
So 82, 91. Let's do some 86.
Yeah, 86 and a half.
So yeah, recommended. Listen, if you guys have nothing better to do, you're driving to work, you're working out. I don't know if this be great to work out too, but I mean, it might
maybe
be good to go into like a different state of mind. So you're not thinking about the workout. You should definitely check out this album, I'd say. So both these albums, even if you haven't heard the J. Cole one too.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you aren't like an avid listener of hip hop,
as I have, and I thought it was a pretty good album.
Yeah, I was surprised actually.
I wouldn't buy I know it definitely wasn't like great. Like a lot of the songs are too like are still like very
too hip hop for you.
It's traditional hip hop. It's not very alternative.
No. I mean, I definitely think that there's some experimenting there, but it's definitely.
But yeah,
J. Cole sticks to the roots.
All the tracks I liked were the ones where it was funk and jazz based.
The ones that most people don't
evidently
like.
people don't like.
But there's a reason for that, because they aren't used to that. They want the neighbors J. Cole, the immortal J. Cole. Like I saw J. Cole in concert last, I think it was October, and the only 3 songs that he played off that album were Immortal, Deja Vu, and Neighbors, because that's what the people want to hear.
They want to hear the singles and the songs that people are comfortable with hearing, the radio songs.
Right, and then the ones that they can say back. It's like, the neighbors think I'm selling drugs.
The neighbors think I'm selling drugs. That's just a funny song, man.
It's not funny, but it is.
Hey, listen, you can laugh at tragedy.
Yeah, Shakespeare did it all the time. The tragic comedies that
Romeo and Juliet.
That's not a tragic comedy.
The worst, yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
It's meant to be a comedy.
It's not. No.
It was meant to be a comedy.
I just took a class.
It was meant to be a comedy.
It was not meant to be a comedy.
It was.
No, it wasn't. It's not a tragic comedy. If you look at the eras of Shakespeare, it's not written during the era of tragic comedies.
Yeah, but it was meant to be funny. It wasn't meant to be taken seriously. Come on, you can't think that was meant to be taken seriously.
Of course it was.
No, it was not.
It was almost a tragedy. It is on the brink of tragedy.
No, because it's these 2 idiots that go around and get everyone.
These 2 idiots.
13 and like 17 going. It's not too big, but like going and like, oh, we should date each other, and getting everyone killed, and like, come on, that's funny. Come on. What's his name? Well, the guy, it's like, Oh, the
Oh,
Romeo. Mercutio.
Mercutio.
Yeah, there's Mercutio in there. That's a comedy. Mercutio's a...
And what was the other guy's name? Oh, man. I forget.
I don't know anyone's name in that. I just remember Mercutio, Romeo, and Juliet, and that's about it.
And that they're the Montagues and the Capulets.
That's definitely comedy. I'll fight you on that.
That's not a comedy, but okay.
All right, well, that's about all we got for you this week. I think next week I'm gonna, if you want to listen along to the pod or to the music, I'm gonna throw on Flying Lotus's "You're Dead,"
And I'm gonna throw on
Randy has to sing.
just to spite this man over here. I'm gonna throw on Billie Eilish's new album.
Yeah, you'll hear my opinions of her. I don't know. I've never actually heard it, so I may think it's.
You're
not
gonna
bad.
hate it.
Okay.
I think you're gonna hate it. My preconceived notion is that you're gonna hate it because I know that you've listened to some of her music before and you hate it, and this is basically just.
It's just
you'll see.
Okay.
I think you're gonna hate it.
Well,
and that's definitely why I'm choosing this because I want to see this man give a bad rating.
All right. Yeah, that's fair. I can get I can get critical. All right. So we'll catch you folks later. Signing off. My name is Thanos.
And there are no spoilers here, so you're safe.
All right. This is gonna look unprofessional.